everybody, welcome back. We're going to make another video today. We have this 2001 GMC step-side truck. We're going to change all the brake lines out. We're going to change the discs, the rotors, pads, and a couple other things. We'll show you that in just a minute. Alright, so now we're just about ready to lift the truck up. We have it on the proper lift points that we've decided are the safest. And we're going to lift the truck up to about waist high so we can get these tires off and inspect the brakes. That should be about good right there, Jeff. Thank you very much. Alright, so we're just going to take the wheel off here. I've already broken all of the lugs with a breaker bar. After we're done, we're going to inspect and see exactly what is required to fix these brakes. Alright, now we're going to take the tire off. We're going to have a look and see what needs to be repaired or replaced. Alright, so we've diagnosed that the lines are bad. Obviously you can see them here, they're rusted through. We're going to replace them all, but we're going to start with the front ones first and then we'll move to the back. Alright, so now we're going to remove this wiring harness up here. We're going to get this out of the way so we got more room to work. Obviously this one here unclips as well. We'll follow it down and get this all out of our way. Alright, so we're going to loosen up the old brake lines. If you're doing this at home, it's a 14mm socket that's required. And basically we're going to go through all of them because we're replacing every line. Okay, so we have all the fittings out of the distribution block. This one goes to the rear. These four go up and over to the front. So we're going to start with the top right one here, and it goes back to the rear. If you come to the back, alright, so now what we've done is oh shit, I gotta do everything. Alright, so now what we've done is we've got the rear one. This is above the rear axle. We got this one off, and now we're going to be taking the line all the way up and out and replacing that one to the distribution block. Alright, so this is our new brake line. Over here we have the code that shows us that this is going to the rear. Over here we have the two bends, or the bend point where we're going to straighten this out. This goes to the rear, this goes to the main distribution block. Alright, so this is our first line to the rear. We're just going to tighten up this connection, and then we're going to move onto the rear and tighten that one as well. Alright, so this is the rear fastener right up here. We're just going to tighten this connection. So now we have all the front lines disconnected from the distribution block, and they come up along here up into the master or under the hood, and we're going to go up and see where they go and start disconnecting these lines one at a time. And then there's a special order that they go back into the distribution block so that you can tighten them up accordingly so you get them all tight. Okay, so we've removed all the brake lines except for the one going to the front passenger side. It goes all the way up and over. We've disconnected the two master cylinder lines, and they went down and under and through. We just have the one front one to do. We're going to lift it and take it out, and then we'll start feeding the new ones in one at a time. Alright, we're just tightening up the rear master cylinder line, and then we got one more to go. Alright, this is the last line. We're just finishing it up, getting around 20 foot-pounds of torque, and they all are in place now. Alright, so now all our brake lines are here just above the frame.
We're going to make them nice and neat and put them inside this clip right here. Alright, so now we're putting on the passenger side. Brake line, just tightening up. And then we're going to move back to the rear of the truck. So now we are going to prime the master cylinder. There's some air that's gotten into here, so we're going to bleed each line and go from there. Alright, so after we were trying to bleed these brakes, we realized that the bleeder had been so stripped by the previous owner or whoever worked on the truck that we decided we're going to change the entire caliper. We're going to have to remove the brake line and the two bolts here holding the caliper on, and then we're going to move forward.
Sure.
Alright, we're just braking. Wait about that one. Alright, so the two bolts that hold the housing are 18 mil, and we're just going to loosen up the last few threads and take this off. Alright, what you didn't see is first we disconnected the emergency brake cable, which is in the back here inside the drum rotor, and we just tapped this off to loosen it up, and we're going to take it off the rotor. Alright, now we have installed the dust shield. The previous one was disintegrated. We removed the caliper housing, and now we're going to reinstall it.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the emergency brake cable back into its housing, and it's going to pop up and in there and have some retaining clips that hold it in position.
Alright, so we have our emergency brake on right now. We're going to put on the rear drum assembly, and then we'll fix up the emergency brake. Alright, on the rear we have the emergency brake installed, we have the caliper, we have the drum rotor installed, and everything is ready to go.
Okay, so what we're going to do is use a C-clamp and a piece of steel to push in the dual piston in the caliper so that they'll have a lot more room to fit the brake pads over the rotor. You want to push it in far enough that you have lots of room. It's also good to work those calipers since they haven't been all the way in and